Hello, everyone. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Heidi. I guess
We
we
want.
could have changed our shirts and then they would know we're not recording these on the same day, but
Oh, well, that's okay. I think people won't mind.
right.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about creation, manifestation. Um, Oftentimes, I can get myself in a streak, say a good streak, where maybe for me that looks like I'm meditating and feeling and thinking about things that I want to attract to myself.
Yeah.
And then I will be going along well for a while, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, uh, or what seems like out of nowhere to me, I will have a bunch of negative stuff enter,
Yeah.
like problems that I didn't see coming and things that frustrate me. And when I listen to Bashar or a few other people that I listen to, one of the terms they use to describe this is an echo. And what he says is these echoes show up as a way for ours to see ourselves. If we don't react the way we used to react, then maybe that'll be the only echo we have and it'll leave our system. But if we are real quickly thrown back into an old program and we react in that same old negative program, then those echoes will keep showing up in our experience. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, well, we love the description of an echo because it de denotes that something has come out of you that's come back to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we want you to understand that when you have negativity, and we don't even deem negativity, we call it the truth of what a human holds. So you're on this good path, you're wanting to get some really good things, and you're really happy with yourself about the way it's going, and you're focused in that direction, then all of a sudden you get the experience of something that you are not preferring. And what
Yeah.
is that? That is what you hold within you that is potentially going to deny you from obtaining what it is that you want to obtain in that experience that you are headed towards. Yeah. And so it is these echoes, if you want to call them that, or this truth that a human holds, or negativity as they would deem it, is often something that's caught in your energy center that is having you say, hey, take a look at this. Feeling, take a look at how this feels, the frustration from the experience, the anger or the jealousy or whatever it is that comes up for you. So that emotion would rise up within you because the path that you're headed on that is accelerating to a higher vibration actually creates the kick out or the response from within yourself of what you might be holding that would be preventative of you obtaining that level of connection or that materialization of what you want to. Do you understand?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's as though there is a detection device within you. So when you get really positive and things can start to go well and you can start to feel that train picking up speed in a good direction. But as that energy starts to enter your field and go through your energy centers, because make no mistake about it, it's not just about a good run that you're on, it's a good charge of energy that's entering your field that's starting to rev up those energy centers. And pretty soon it's going to spin the dirt off the wheel. And the dirt off the wheel comes in an experience that you think is out of nowhere or it's negative or I have to not react to it. And we would agree to some degree, not react to it unconsciously. That's what Bashar is referring to. Don't go
Yeah.
back to the old way of being asleep and think this is the way it is. My life is crap now because this thing has happened. But to go to awakeness. Oh, the universe is showing me something. It's helping me. It's actually showing me another situation that makes me feel this way that doesn't match this way in what I am headed towards that I'm trying to create. So now I'm in awakeness, I'm in awareness, I'm grateful for what has been shown to me. I'm not condemning or judging, and I'm flowing the flow of love and compassion and understanding to myself. And I'm grateful for my human working together in this relationship that it has with the divinity part of myself. I'm in full understanding that connection comes between me, the divine, and so that everything that I feel as a human is directly related to what I'm feeling as the divinity partner. And so if something comes up in negativity in my human and my divinity partner was starting to send something to me in positivity, all I do is wake up to it and realize, oh, I've got something to look at here. Oh, I can see. I understand you, human. I know why you'd feel that way. Of course, you're frustrated. Of course, you're angry. So I start to soothe it. I start to flow energy to it. I start to agree with it in what it has experienced in its experience. I don't tell it to get more positive. I don't tell it to drop what it's thinking and think something else. I don't tell it to not feel its own experience and remove its free will. I agree. I surrender to it. And therefore, it surrenders to me, you see.
Mhm. Yeah, I find it interesting because when I heard Bashar use that term echo, I really try, and I'm not always successful, but I really try when I have something like that hit to, like you say, observe it and just say, oh, this is showing up to show me, this is a little test to see if I cleared this out or if I still have more left. And I try to
Let's
look
look
at
at
it.
it a little bit differently. Let's look at it between what my divinity partner has created for me by everything I have felt stands and exists. And I'm holding this thing that's preventing this thing from entering.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm trying now more to observe it, and not let myself get lost in, like you say, the unconsciousness of it. And what's interesting is now that I have found myself observing that more, I'm
Mhm.
seeing more instances of it in others that are seeing it in themselves that just reaffirm the observance of it. And I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
So I like to watch Survivor,
Mhm.
and there was a young man who struggled basically with feeling he was an outsider, that he wasn't good enough, that nobody really liked him, which I think in the collective is a huge wound that many people suffer, myself included. And he was discussing this and kind of feeling and then he caught himself going back to that old way of thinking and knowing that he was sort of attracting those experiences because he was reminding himself of how his life used to be. And I felt like that was very powerful for me to see another person observe it in themselves, because it was like reaffirming that that is the best way to handle something. So I feel like when you start to observe things, you maybe see it in others. And I don't know what you think
Well,
about
even that
that.
experience, Heidi, was one that you attracted to yourself through the observation of yourself. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's like you can gain so much wisdom even from just watching someone
Yeah.
else observe it,
Well,
something.
and then to just to understand the powerful creator that you are, that everything that you are observing or
Yeah.
appreciating in yourself, the universe is tallying all of that. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
then it gives you what you would think is not meaning a whole lot, a lighthearted experience, but that felt really good to you to actually
Yeah.
to see that and to have that experience of viewing that man go through something that was similar to what you had gone through. But this also is a good time to point out that even this is something that you are attracting someone to yourself in an experience that they're having on TV that you probably feel is random, but it's not
Yeah.
random. Yeah,
Yeah.
understand.
Well, and the other part of that is, I used to maybe look at this guy and think, oh my God, what a drama king, or why is he so over the top about this? But because when you get into those reactive states, you don't see it in yourself. And so just watching him go through the experience and then catch himself in it,
Yeah,
um, it was really a unique experience, I think, for
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, and in actuality, the more that you move along this path, and the more energy that starts to get dissipated from you through the observation of yourself, you'll have that compassion for others. They will be doing things. Robin sees it once in a while, within her own family, and she doesn't have anything to say about it. She just observes it even in them. Yeah, it is not as
Yeah.
upsetting or something that would cause a reaction. Let's use that term from what it might. And so eventually you start to recognize that you start to get rewarded through your recognition of your observation and your source entering your field. It starts to kind of take over. It starts to operate within you. A new operating system, that's a good term to use, actually gets enacted but through self-observation. And then the new operating system that comes in takes over the old operating system. So it's no longer it's become the master over the human. This is something we've talked about a lot in recordings, and I think it's important to know that through surrender and through acceptance of your free will to feel your experience, you will invite a new operating system in, if you will, and that operating system will flow to you the most wonderful experiences in ease that you could ever imagine, and you could really have a life that you really couldn't believe that you could have prior to moving to that practice. So it's the one we call the golden key. We talk about it a
Yeah.
lot in recordings and we work with it a lot in sessions. And it is to understand you're not here to change how you feel. You're not here to deny how you feel. You're not here to judge or condemn anyone else in how they feel. You're here to surrender to it. And when you finally get that concept, we described it as the difference between trying to swallow a pill and getting it sideways in your throat. It's not very comfortable, but eventually that pill turns and it goes slips right down your throat, and it starts to happen in ease. And so we really want you to understand that this is not the human doing it. It is the human being loved for its free will choice and how it feels, and that source energy getting access to you that comes in with the new operating system. And Robin can only tell you, and it's not to say that all areas of her life are perfect, they're not, but she would tell you that the new operating system that has come in, it's magical. It's surprising that she will reach for old ways of being and feeling and not be able to find them. It's not available to her. It's almost like the reaction is still in the brain, but it's not in the heart. It's not part of her choice anymore. And that's actually what happens as your consciousness starts to rise, as you start to become more and more infused by that divinity part of yourself. You rise up in a higher vibration, and it brings the human along with it out of that lower tone where different choices are now available. So it's not about becoming different. It's not about watching yourself or denying yourself. It's about connecting the two of you together in the love of self and then being swept up into a higher vibratory level of consciousness where what you choose to feel is something of a higher tone. It is no longer easy for you to get angry or to get sad or to have the negativity that you would normally once have chosen spontaneously without thinking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So my next question, I want to know if it's the same or different. So we talked about how things are going along great, and then all of a sudden a negative experience pops in, and that being like an echo.
Yeah.
What's the meaning or the reason when you're feeling really good and not necessarily anything happens negatively? Your life is still moving along great, and then all of a sudden you have a day where you just feel really down, really sad, feels like it comes out of nowhere, much like the negative experience. Is
Mhm.
that also what you'd call an echo, or is that something different? If it's
Yeah,
just a
we would
feeling.
call that an echo, but we would call it a more distant echo, or one that the other side of the canyon is further away. So it would be more of a lineage type wound that came through, that was vibratorily low, that interrupted your good feeling that you were having. And you're going to find as you get on this path, and this is another thing that we've actually done with clients, is you do have a right in your experience to say enough. There are many that are doing lineage healing without even knowing it, and some doing it that they know that they're doing it, that are experiencing a great deal of suffering in regard to what others were carrying in their line. And as they make these transformations of that energy or overcome the sadness or the rage or the jealousy or addictive behaviors, things like that, when they actually overcome those, they actually heal it in the line. We tell some humans, you know, you can say, I've had enough of that, that I've decided that I've done enough and that I would like to go on and enjoy my experience individually, sovereignly by myself, and therefore stop that lineage type of healing coming through. But if your field is open and you're on a spiritual path, you are going to be used by those that were part of your lineage to try to push energy through you that they themselves were not able to deal with when they were in form. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about the benefits of switching up your environment to assist you in creating better. So oftentimes when you're in your everyday life, you're doing most things the same every day, in the same environment with the same people. It makes it somewhat difficult in some cases to make changes or to not allow yourself to fall back into repeat behavior. So let's talk about the benefit of switching up the environment and what that does for someone that is trying to either transcend an illness or get rid of a negative emotion that they're over and over repeating, a bad experience with a person. How does
Yeah.
that help us?
Yeah, it definitely helps because what happens with repetitive conduct is unconsciousness. Yeah.
Yep.
And so Robin has a good example of this. She'll go over to the park to walk and she will do 3 revolutions around the park. And once in a while, she'll decide halfway through to turn around and go the other way. And what just happened is very uncomfortable. Try it. It's a very uncomfortable experience. And she realized that when she was going unconsciously the same way all the time, she wasn't even paying attention to the walk. She had no
Yeah.
idea what was going on around her. When she switched the direction, everything came alive. She started to notice the people, the different look of the property. Everything had a different view, and it brought her out of her unconscious state and into consciousness. So we would say that the same thing with moving your furniture around in the house, if taking a different path or route to work than you would normally take, it takes you out of that repetitive behavior where the subconscious is in charge of unconsciously just getting you to places, and that brings you in, brings the divinity aspect of yourself into what it is that you are doing, because you are aware, you are now awakened or observing rather than being unconscious and just going through the motions.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if someone is experiencing a hardship in their life, no matter, what area of life it is in, and they want to transcend it, and they want to change their environment to do that, um, is it something they need to do for months, weeks, days? What would be the best way for them to do
Yeah,
that?
well, I think it is to be completely clear that you will take with you what you are running from. You probably won't, you might have a good day if you go do
Yeah.
something you wouldn't normally do. But once you get back into your old routine, the old ways will come back around or start to bother you again. Yeah.
Mm.
So it would be not just a choice to change your environment, but to actually go deep within yourself and make a decision in that change of environment that you yourself were going to change with it. Yeah, that you were going to bring in a different way of being or thinking and being. Let's use that. And so that's how we would really describe that. There are people that maybe lose a spouse and they redecorate the house or get new furniture or move sometimes near family or to a different area. And we're not going to say that this doesn't have sometimes a permanent improvement or a temporary one. But once again, would be our advice to you to really go within yourself when you are having a period of struggle and try to figure out what it is in your experience early on that maybe activated the way that you feel presently in the struggle that you're in, and try to get more flow coming into you before you in fact make those changes so that they do go in the direction that you are really preferring them to go, you see.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. And we look forward to seeing you all again next time.
Good day, Heidi.
Good.